Good evening, all, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening is Adam,
Hello.
and then traveling exhibit, GabbyGeeWhiz.
Good evening.
And of course, as it's a Friday, I am the keeper, yes, Sanguine. And how are all of you doing tonight?
Middling. I don't know. My body's trying to decide. My brain and my body are not agreeing.
And Adam, how about you?
Um, I'm doing pretty good. It was kind of a slow morning, but focused on work and got my mind off certain things, and I plowed through, and here we are. It's the weekend.
Mhm.
There you go. A little bit of R&R before the weekend when you can party hardy.
Yeah, well, I don't want to party too hardy, but oh, wow.
Well, I have
It's a
some-
subjective adjective. You can make it party as you want.
I would not consider what I'm doing currently partying hardy, but I know there are some people that would, considering I'm downing a good-sized beer and a couple shots of bourbon.
Hey, what's a
Excellent
good-sized
start.
beer?
Got a rather interesting smoked double block, and it's I'd say this bottle is probably one of the 20 or so ounce bottles, because it's a bit north of a pint.
Oh shit!
But it's good. The oak smoke on the double block is rather lovely. And of course, I have a fantastic dinner to go along with it, because spice rub bourbon salmon and cilantro spice rice. Hell yeah.
Making Gordon Ramsay proud.
Yep. And you guys will, of course, be able to see what the hell I'm talking about come next Thursday.
Wait, what happens next Thursday?
Every Thursday, I post my week of dinners.
Oh, right on. There
Why
you
not
go.
just do one a day? Like you post them all like at the same time?
Because my schedule makes that somewhat difficult.
Mm.
I tend to wake up, make my dinner, eat my dinner, and then immediately have to run off to work.
Gotcha.
So instead, I just do all 7 days in one go on Thursdays, because that's a day that I consistently have off. But yeah,
Well,
it
Whatever
is
floats your boat or
yes.
finds your lost remote.
Yep. But yeah, we were talking about a few things before stream. Is there any of those topics that we want to launch into now, or a different topic that you're dying to get out and rant or just gab about?
No, man. What do you think? Do you think we should uh, juggle one of the topics that we were talking about pre-show, or do you want to wager on something new?
I would I'm a bit curious about the Ukraine Russian stuff because I haven't been watching the news the last couple of days. Like the last bit I remember seeing on TV was like we only sent like 3,000 troops out there to help them out.
Wait,
And the Russians had like 100,000.
yeah, well, you got to increase that by like a lot. I think we sent like 8,000 or 800,000. No, 8,000.
Yeah, I think the last I heard was we okayed 8,000 troops.
Yeah,
Okay, so I mean it's still better than 3,000. Like I
well,
said, I've been out of the loop.
and then we moved troops from, I think, Germany to another location. Um, but
And
yeah, a Russia has a lot of troops over there.
And the Ukrainian government keeps on putting out things of, you fuckers in the West, calm down, take the temperature down, don't rev this up. It isn't damned right now, and everyone keeps on going. So it's war. It's going to be war, right? It's war. Now we're going to go into war. No, calm down. War.
Who brought the tanks first? Huh? I just I don't get that at all. It's like, if it's just a show of force or whatever, it's like, okay, then just like, we're not doing anything. We're just chilling out on the border in case they flip off.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way around.
I don't think Ukraine has a problem with send a couple more troops into our country. I think their main problem is this constant, Russia's the enemy. Russia's going to invade. It's going to happen. It's going to happen at any point. We need to be ready. We need to be ready to kill them. And they're just like, no, come on, chill, calm down. We might still be able to talk. It might not be war. Can you please not try to force a war in our fucking country?
I just don't understand why they would have that response. It's like, okay, so while you guys are negotiating, it doesn't hurt to have a few more men behind your men that are already there at the border. Like, if it was not such a big issue, they wouldn't have sent even their own people to the border then. It's like...
Oh, like I said, I don't think it's that they have a problem with the troops showing up as backup. It's more the constant government and media chatter that they have a problem with.
Okay.
Because that is going to their point of view, at least as far as I can tell, they view it as a situation that is going to force matters. They're going to put everyone into a corner where the only action that they can take is war.
Remember when politics, like, journalists and news stations would just cover the news, and now politicians in countries are worried that, like, the mainstream media is going to drive what they feel like their country has to do?
Mm-hmm.
That shit is just ass backwards to me.
Yeah, and it's been that way for a while. One of the early signs that media was fucked that a lot of people just ignored, and most people have forgotten. Do you guys remember when Geraldo was kicked out of Iraq?
Yep.
I don't.
Adam, do you remember why he was kicked out of Iraq?
Because it was like bullshit reporting.
It wasn't just bullshit reporting. What Geraldo did was, because he was a reporter attached to a number of units, he ended up getting some information earlier than everyone else. Makes sense, right? When the unit's getting briefed on shit, he's just standing there. So he's party to information that the rest of the world is not party to. It was made clear that, yeah, you can report on this after it's taken place. Once the events have played out, you're able to talk about what this plan was, what the mode of attack was, all that shit. You can do that after. Geraldo was attached to units right before Fallujah. They got briefed on what was going to happen in Fallujah. And I think it was 36 hours ahead of when the attack was meant to start. He went on air and started talking about how in 36 hours, the battle for Fallujah will commence. The U.S. military will be attacking from this area and this area. They will initiate the attack by doing X, Y, and Z. Then it will be followed up by these actions. And the Marines found out and went, did you just fucking say everything that you heard because you were jaw-jacking with the troops? Did you just release the information on how we're going to attack this fucking city?
That, dude,
Jeez,
that's such a
really?
big no-no.
Yep.
That could be borderline treason, right?
Yeah, that's why he was kicked out of country.
That shit makes sense.
And he wasn't just told to get the fuck out. No.
Oh,
He was
fuck.
bundled into a vehicle with a handful of Marines, and they drove his ass out of country. Because it was a complete, no, fuck you, you're gone. Not
They
just
personally didn't trust him to get out of town. Like they did an escort mission.
exactly.
Oh my god.
We've had these warning signs that the media's just going completely fucking mental for ages. But a lot of them have been either ignored or just forgotten.
Or you're a conspiracy theorist.
Or you're dubbed a conspiracy theorist, exactly. Which does no one any good except for the media companies themselves. It should be perfectly fine to say, yeah, these jackasses don't know when they can report something and when they can't report something. It used to be that reporters... World War II is probably one of the best examples of this. There were a lot of bits of information that reporters were privy to throughout World War II, and they chose not to report it. They weren't even told not to report it. They chose not to report it until like 48 hours after the event happened.
See, that's respect.
Yeah.
Yep. So they would see ships leaving the harbor, and they would wait like a day or two before saying, so yeah, we can see from this footage that we got as the ships were setting sail that our boys in blue are headed off to these locations, and they're going to show the enemy what for. And they'll just be very vague about where everyone's going. Because it was a common thing. Loose lips sink ships. You don't let your enemy know what the fuck you're doing until after it's done.
And it's too late to stop it or do anything about it.
Yep.
And now it's just, even like domestically, just journalists and reporters will go to the ground of like the protests in Canada, like the honkening.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll go there with their own narrative and like talk to people. But there was this video on Twitter of a guy who was asking about the safety of his children because a journalist went and started asking him and his buddies, like, do you feel like your kids are safe? It's like, what the fuck do you mean? Do you see anything going on? Like, there's not even trash on the ground. Are you telling me my kids aren't safe? And the reporter wouldn't ask the question. He's like, well, people say it's not safe. I'm like, so should I get my kids out of here? Yes or no? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like they just go there to stir the pot, dude. It's like, no, just you got a cameraman, just report what you see and ask people on the ground who have been there a while what's going on.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and say, well, someone else told me, you know, so-and-so, my trusted sources, who are the fuck those are. And kids aren't safe here, and there's fires.
That should be something that, just like the government right now, when it comes to the media saying inside sources, sources close to the matter, sources familiar with the matter, anything like that, you should immediately take it as, this is probably 90% bullshit.
That's them fumigating your butthole.
Mm-hmm. And I wasn't even drowning before that. They're just doing it for shits and giggles. And if anyone gets that, congratulations, you have weird information as well. For those who didn't get that, one of the ways that it was thought that you could revive someone from drowning was blowing tobacco up their ass. And there were actually specially designed pipes to do this.
Trust the science. The science is an ever evolving creature.
You know, yeah, it's never really shocking. You know, I learned recently that you can get straws that you could slurp up cocaine up your asshole. So
I've heard of alcoholics doing that with alcohol. That way it doesn't go through the liver. So like to get drunker faster.
Yeah, it goes right through. Ugh. What the hell's wrong with people?
I don't know.
And just so that people know I'm not entirely bullshitting, I'm quickly pulling up a picture that I find fucking
Oh
hilarious.
no, dude! Hold on. Don't.
We've been talking about a lot of grody things. What exactly are you putting on screen? Well,
We
fuck,
can,
it's not my channel. Do it.
Hold on. We can.
I've shown this
utilize-
before.
What is that? He has a top hat on too. Oh,
That's a
he's
drowned
freaking-
man that is currently being revived by a tobacco smoke enema.
I just want to know how many people actually did somehow survive drowning with this method.
Yeah.
I don't think the method had anything to do with the survival rate. I'm just wondering.
Do you think it's more of a shock that you're getting shit blown up your asshole and you're like, whoa, shit, I'm awake.
Maybe.
So yeah, the way that it worked was
Oh, tobacco.
you had a special pipe that was set aside, as you can see the one chap off to the side is holding. Then you had another tube that one end you would blow into, the other end would be inserted in the rectum of whoever you're trying to revive. So that you'd take a nice deep puff off the pipe, then you would exhale it into the person's ass. Fucking weird, hilarious, just what the hell was going on back then?
The good old days when opium cured everything, too.
Yeah.
You didn't have to say it like that. Now I'm going to feel weird, when I'm enjoying my pipe. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, enjoy
well,
that mental
never-
image in your head.
Just think how many people that were drowning you could revive by smoking your pipe at them.
Yeah, no. I don't think I want to.
Yeah, it doesn't really work, but for some reason people thought that it did for a while.
Oh, shit. You know what? For once, I'm glad my pipe is shorter.
Mhm.
Shit.
Imagine, like Johnny in chat was saying, imagine there's backsplash. Like, what if someone had diarrhea?
Oh, there was a later version of the system that took out the person actually having to blow. What it was effectively a bellows with two one-way valves.
Oh,
One
so it's like
one-way-
those bat traps. So it's like there's only one way to go in or out.
Yep, so it had effectively the bowl of a pipe, then a one-way valve that led from the bowl of the pipe into the bellows. So as you start to widen the bellows, it would suck in air through the pipe bowl. And then it would hold the smoke inside, and you'd stick the nozzle up someone's ass, and then you'd squeeze the bellows.
Holy fuck, dude. Well, hold on. And then he's
And
going to open his
They
mouth.
put
and the
far too
chimney-
much thought into this.
Yeah, dude.
And there'd be another one-way valve between the bellows that would lead from the bellows to the pipe that leads out of the bellows, to the tube that leads out of the bellows into the person's butthole. And you just inflate the bellows, sucking in smoke, deflate the bellows, blasting it up someone's ass, inflate the bellows, deflate the bellows.
Yeah, and then his fucking face becomes a chimney. And here comes
And you
Big
just
Guy.
keep on doing that until the person was revived.
Yeah.
This was before
Or
they figured
dead.
out, no, what you do is first you make sure that you get the water out of them. So do the Heimlich or the laying down variant of the Heimlich. Then you start providing air. But yeah, weird shit from the turn of the century.
Although, you know what? I can totally see, because it just reminded me of a infomercial for, what's it called? A neti pot. You ever see those neti pots?
I can tell you that the tobacco ass billows does not slice, does not dice, and it does not julienne fries. Thank fucking God for that.
No, but
I've heard of the neti pots. Some people I know like swear by them. I just can't imagine doing that.
yeah, where they pour water in their nose and then
Yep.
it goes through the sinuses. It just sounds like something like that, where it's like, hey guys, we can take this smoke shit and bellows it up your asshole, and then you'll be clear of congestion.
Mhm.
No, that's not good.
Only, like I said, this was something that was thought to reverse the effects of drowning effectively.
Of drowning?
Yeah, it was. These kits would be kept at dockyards and on ships.
I
In
just
case someone
even-
fell in and started to drown.
Hold on,
You'd
so
pull
when
them out.
someone's
even
drowning,
back then, like they had enough tools to like dissect a corpse. Surely someone would have realized, hey, by the way, the asshole is pretty far away from the lungs. I don't know what good this is gonna do.
this is a joke.
the
This is a
thought
joke. This
was-
is, that somebody pulled poor Walter out of the fucking sea, and they were like, it would be funny if we fucking shoved a bellows up his ass.
It wasn't back then sodomy a crime.
Yes, it was.
We're trying to
Except
wake
if it
him
was
up.
done with smoke, apparently.
Well, then it's magic, street magic or dockyard magic.
Do you believe in magic?
No, not this.
I'm just concerned with how the next line would go. Do you believe in magic in a young boy's ass? Is that the next line?
Hey, let's make a parody AMV.
But it was thought that the tobacco smoke would revitalize the person, because a lot of smokers, when they take a puff off the cigarettes, they kind of get a bit more energy. And they thought the same premise would hold if you blow it up someone's ass.
Well, you know what? Then I want to know where the reverse came in, where it became a thing where it's like, hey, don't be blowing smoke up my ass, and that became a thing of like a negative thing,
Well,
I
I mean,
think
you
it
can
was
only
when they
ignore
found out.
statistics for so long. Like, I'm sure enough people didn't revive. They're like, okay, there's got to be something else.
Hold on. That's exactly what happened. There were so many people who were getting smoke blown up their ass. They were like, you know what? It's not working. And so when they were like, hey, don't blow smoke up my ass, they're saying like, yeah, dude, you're not going to rescue me from drowning. It's like, it's not going to work. Don't do it.
But yeah, as I was saying, the media is constantly blowing smoke up people's asses. And yes, that was where that tangent came from me ranting about the media. Aren't you happy that you tuned in for tonight and you got to see the pipe system that you use in order to actually do that, and the potential origin of blowing smoke up someone's ass? But the media constantly does this, and it should be something that people have in mind throughout. Just like the government has lost the ability to say, we have evidence of this, trust us. Because how many times have they said that they have proof that such and such a thing is going to happen, and just fucking doesn't?
Yeah. The only good thing that's happened is people are waking up, and dude, the trust in like mainstream media is like the lowest it's been in God knows how many generations, which that alone is a good thing. Always criticize, like, listen but investigate, or how did that phrase go? You know what I mean? Like, take it with a grain of salt, look into whatever someone tells you, because
Listen but verify
we're all
was
humans.
the phrase, I think.
Yeah, listen but verify.
And yeah, that is something that everyone needs to do. They need to don't just ignore what you hear and go, yeah, it's bullshit. Because some of the information will be correct. But actually look into the information that you're given. I've talked about it before, how I read scientific papers. Because, Gabby, I'm not sure if you know this, I was a science major, got my BS in it, and I enjoy reading scientific papers. I also work in a lab currently.
Oh, I know. Like, you get pretty much mocked if you don't cite, like, all your resources, right? Like,
but the way that you read a paper is first you start with the abstract. The abstract is effectively a summary of the paper within the paper itself. It's right up front. And it gives you a really quick overview of previous research, a really quick overview of what this study claims to have shown, and then a really quick expansion as to what this means for the field as a whole. So you read the abstract, it gives you the gist of what's going on. Then, when I read a paper, I skip the introduction and I go straight to methods and materials. So, the methods and materials section, when I'm reading through that, I make sure that what they're saying their study was meant to show is actually something that their method could possibly show. An example of something that it fails just on that analysis is the infamous Wakefield paper. You're familiar with the Wakefield paper, right, Gabby?
No, it's not ringing any bells.
Vaccines cause autism.
Oh, shit, that.
That is known as the Wakefield paper because it was done by some pillock named Wakefield. So when you read through the methods and materials, there's a bunch of things that immediately jump out at you as, what the fuck? Like, can anyone tell me what thorough examinations of someone's colon has to do with studying autism? Because there's absolutely no connection scientifically between someone's colon and whether or not they have autism. It's not like you have a very autistic colon or anything like that. You just have a bog standard colon. So why the fuck in the Wakefield paper was every person involved in that study rectally examined? It has nothing to do with the study. That was one of the things that they used as one of their cornerstones of that paper.
I can't think of any excuse. I can't think of anything too funny to say. That's just perturbing.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it immediately fails. Another really good example. A lot of the worst papers in history, to my mind, they fail at this step, reading the methods and materials. The Seralini paper, which probably only those that remember when I rant about it before know what the hell the Seralini paper is. It is the paper that claimed that glyphosate causes cancer.
Glyphosate what now?
Glyphosate. It's the Roundup is the common name, or the industry name. So the paper that claimed that it proved that Roundup causes cancer, they used a specific type of knockout mouse. A knockout mouse is a laboratory mouse that has certain genes activated or deactivated. So
they used a particularly susceptible population to claim that it applied to, like, the general pop.
That would have been more valid than what they did. What they did was they used a particular type of knockout mouse that is known to spontaneously generate tumors after a specific period of time. So it's something like after, I want to say, 3 or 4 months, these lab mice just end up developing tumors.
That's so
They use
sad.
those mice, and like I said, like that 3 or 4 month mark is when they start generating tumors. They ran the experiment with those specific mice for over a year. And then they used the appearance and the sheer number and size of the tumors to determine that glyphosate causes cancer. The type of mouse that spontaneously generates tumors, they use that mouse, they run the experiment for several times longer than the known time frame where the mice start to spontaneously generate tumors, and then they use the fact that these mice have tumors as evidence for glyphosate causes cancer.
God.
Failed entirely in that point. And it got even worse as you read the methods and materials, because in the methods and materials, they also end up having to admit that they ended up contaminating their control sample, and then they commingled their control and their experimental, and they chose the mice with the greatest tumor to body weight ratio as the mice that they used in the data analysis. So effectively, all the things that you're supposed to do in order to make sure that your scientific experiment is valid,
They
they went,
up.
man, fuck that shit.
Oh shit! Are you talking about the Rat City? That the
Oh no, the Rat
Secret
Utopia.
Nim?
The Rat Utopia experiment's interesting, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, Secret of Nim.
Ooh, I love that movie.
It was a good movie.
Yeah, it's based on the Mice Utopia.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I haven't seen the sequel though. There's a sequel to The Secret of Nim.
Wait, there is?
Yep. Her children are all grown.
Ah.
Well, bigger. They're not like entirely grown. They're still kids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very hesitant about sequels to really good children's film, like The Sandlot. There's a sequel to that.
There's a sequel to The Sandlot? No, get out.
Yes, but I refuse to go and watch it. Like, I'm just no. If
that story was done, how the hell is there a sequel?
Yeah,
I don't fucking know. That's why I leave it alone. Because I mean, if anything that modern, like if hashtag current year has taught me, sequels, remakes are garbage.
Mm-hmm. It's one thing if there's something left to be said in a story, so there's a sequel. Perfectly valid. Those can be fine. It's another when the story is tied up neatly with a bow, and someone goes, by the way, we ain't a sequel. Why the fuck did you make a sequel? It's done. The story is over.
Because they want to ride the gravy train till it goes off the tracks and crashes into a freaking cliff or off of the cliff.
Exactly. But, yeah, you read the methods and materials, you go through that. And another example of an experiment that fails just astoundingly at the methods and materials phase is also one of the most horrendous papers. I'm just pulling out some of the most horrendous papers that I've ever read and know of existing. The Dr. Money paper. Dr. Money is the person that claims that he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that gender is a social construct. In his methods and materials section of his case study, there's no polite way of saying this. He admits that he horrendously sexually abused the 2 boys that were used in the experiment.
No.
Yeah, he forced them to perform sexual acts upon each other.
This is the earlier papers where he had the 2 twins. And
Yep.
Okay.
It was... So, Gabby, if you've never heard of this paper, the Dr. Money paper is... There were 2 twins. Both boys. They were identical twins. One of them ended up having a botched circumcision. So they ended up just completely mangling the boy in the circumcision. So they went, there's no way that we could repair the damage done. So they transitioned the child. Then Dr. Money was the...
They made a Law and Order SVU episode based off of this. This is sounding awfully familiar.
I believe so.
Wait,
Dr. Money was the doctor that was in charge of their care, the psychologist in charge of their care. So he was ensuring that the one that had been mangled would be raised as a girl in order to make sure that he recognized his gender roles rather than his sexual roles. What he did was he forced the boy to wear girls' clothing. He forced the boy to play house with his brother. And part of forcing them to play house together was Dr. Money forced them to simulate sexual acts upon each other. With the one that had been mutilated always being the female in the simulations.
I hope this fucker is in jail.
Nope, he
So can we cut to the the ending?
still alive and well. Unfortunately, he is the only person that was involved in this that is alive and well. It had a 100% mortality by suicide rate. The two boys.
The other
committed
people
suicide.
actually had a semi-conscience. Not during the act, but at least after it kicked in.
The two boys that were involved in the study, they both committed suicide at a later date. But this is the study that is still cited constantly.
From the same crowd that cries about assigned gender at birth, and that's what this fucker actually did.
Yep. It's the people that try to make the argument that your sex is, or your gender is assigned at birth, your sex is assigned at birth. This is effectively the foundational paper of that entire field of study. And it is still cited in pretty much all the research.
God damn it! You know,
If I wasn't
Sanguine,
feeling
okay.
ill already.
Can we? Okay, so we gotta have like two positive topics to talk about because that was just some of it, man. I was having a good Friday, and then you got to bring this up. I've looked at this stuff before, and it's just not.
At least I didn't talk about the German or the Berlin pedophile experiment.
Well,
No,
we don't
we're
have to
saving
talk
that for
about
some other time. Maybe
we
never, but no.
Yep.
We could talk about that on, the Skep channel time. Yeah, or Harry's. I hear Harry always likes fascinating tales to talk about. So let's pass it on to him.
But yeah, so you read the methods and materials, then you go to the results, make sure that the results actually say what the paper says they say. An example of a paper failing that was the government report about white supremacists are the major cause of terrorism within the United States that came out during the Obama administration that everyone's been touting ever since. When in the results it says that Islamic terrorists are responsible for 1/3 of all the terror attacks within the United States. And at no point does it say that white supremacists are anywhere close to that, let alone more than that. And even if you do the math and you assume that they're responsible for 2/3 of all the terrorist attacks within the United States, which the paper does not claim, then they're still less likely to commit terrorist attacks. Because math. But to go to cheerier topic.
Because math.
No,
that was good.
it's just the math. If you actually do the math like I did, then you find out that, yeah, even if you say white supremacists are responsible for 2/3 of all terrorist attacks within the United States, they are 1/27th as likely to commit a terrorist attack.
It's a low number.
Yeah.
You always got to be skeptical. Skeptical. I can speak English about percentages and polls and shit like that. Like you got to look at like how big the polling was, or who they polled, or what exact percentage. Because you could say car accidents like tripled in this one area, but say there was only like 6 like car accidents and it went up to 18. Like, yeah, that's tripled, but it's not honestly that big of an increase.
Yeah, it's like how the Department of Justice study in Ferguson was when they said that, yeah, it turned out that 100% of police canine bites were against black people. Do you know how many police canine bites were in the study?
I remember who covered this. Was it Nuance Bro or was it actual Justice Warrior?
I think both of them have.
I think they both covered it.
And yet, it was something like 5. It was a single-digit number.
That wasn't. Well, that's usually what they do. Is that they'll skew the numbers and hope that people don't actually look into it.
Yeah, like the whole Asian hate thing. The majority of the quote-unquote uptick in Asian hate was like 60-odd%. Nuance Bro, I know, definitely did a video on this. But like 60-odd% was just called in complaints. Just reports, like just non-verified, non-prosecuted, quote-unquote, like what actually happened, like verbal altercations. No evidence.
Then also the only time that they would count the race in that specific study was if it was stated in the article that was originally published about it. If there was a picture showing the assailant, they would not go based off the picture. If there was video, they would not go off the video. It had to specifically be stated in the article for them to count it as a member of that race. So if there was a picture of a black guy attacking an Asian person and it said a man attacked an Asian person, then they wouldn't count it as being a black person attacking the Asian person. Or if it was a white person that attacked the Asian person and they just said a man, they wouldn't count it as a white person.
Oh yeah, but we everyone here is pretty much wizened up to that practice.
Yep.
Like, you know how a car drove through that gathering a couple of months ago.
Or the British man that attacked the synagogue.
Yeah.
That's kind of what gets me is how much more of this shit do we have to go through before, you know, we sit, all right, we understand that this is all bullshit. What they're feeding us is bullshit.
Yep. And the thing is that a lot of people are realizing that. Like, that's the problem, to tie back to something else that we were talking about pre-show. That's the problem that the media and government are having when it comes to the trucker protest.
Oh, yeah.
Because the honkening is not letting up. And the media keeps on trying to smear them. The media keeps on trying to say that they're racist and sexist and homophobic and every ist and ism under the fucking sun. But the people are actually interacting with them and they're seeing them and they're going...
Sorry, I was just going to say, every leftist who's so mad about these truckers, I'm like, this really shows how much, like, partisan, like, you've overdosed on, because these are literally people workers, the working class who own the means of their production, like advocating and using their voice. And you want to call this like white supremacy? And where I don't know where in the Canadian law only white people can be truckers, or only dudes can be truckers. But like, there's no litter, there's no fire. The only quote unquote fire that happened, Matt Christensen did a good job debunking that one claim that if someone of the convoy or the convoy supporters set a fire in an apartment complex.
Oh yeah,
you could poke holes in that for days.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the one claim that there was a Nazi flag, and people started pointing out, why is it that the dude with the Nazi flag is wearing a mask at a protest that is against masks and mandates?
I've seen some people use photos like from other protests in the middle of summer. Some pictures have people in t-shirts and no snow on the ground. I'm like, do you not see where you're fucking up with this?
But yeah, the media and government's having a hell of a time with it because everyone else can see what's going on. Everyone else. And yeah, Philip DeFranco did show the image of the Nazi and Confederate flags and called them white supremacists for it. But again, it's one of those things that it takes no effort to go, what the fuck? Because first on, in those instances where there were those people, it's an anti-mask mandate, an anti-vaccine mandate protest. The person shows up in a mask completely covered head to toe to make sure that they aren't able to be identified, and they're waving around a Nazi flag. And what did the truckers around them do? The truckers around them said, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everyone on the ground, everyone's like, oh, look, we got a picture of this Nazi flag with creases, like it's brand spanking new. But like them getting kicked out for, because people disavow that shit. Everyone who supports it, disavowing it. But no, we got some few dumb fuckers who are either like actors or just legit idiots thinking they're welcome there. And they have been proven time and again not to be. But, let's make the narrative. We're not the news. Let's just make that narrative.
Yeah, the truckers are doing.
Some chick was trying to claim it was a Russian thing, disinformation thing.
Yep.
Did you see that? That clip? Oh my god! All I said was Rachel Maddow gained some weight, man. I'll have to find the clip. I'll have to find that clip if you haven't seen it, Adam.
Yeah, it's probably the stress.
But yeah, it's absolutely infuriating that they keep on doing that shit. And the thing is that the truckers are doing what I've said the protesters for anything need to do. And what I only saw once when it came to the Summer of Peace and Love. And I have praised the people that I saw do this during the Summer of Peace and Love. I don't know how many fucking times. Because they were good fucking dudes. Do you guys remember the clip from the Summer of Peace and Love where there's some Antifa asshole that has a hammer and he's breaking the sidewalk in order to make stones to throw at the police?
And to be fair, some other protesters are like, don't do that, stop it.
There's one of the clips, which is the group that I always praise, because the dude's doing that. And then like 4 or 5 big guys tackle him, grab him. One has one arm, one has another arm. They're just carrying him bodily through the crowd. They walk up to the police, kind of toss him at the police feet and say, this asshole was breaking the concrete, trying to drive everyone into a frenzy and give them weapons. Lock his ass up. He ain't with us. And they went back to protest.
Dude, I think they did something like that with the trucker protest too recently.
Yep,
So,
that's what I'm saying. The truckers
yeah.
are doing that consistently.
Yeah.
That was the one time I saw anyone do that in the Summer of Peace and Love, where they took the person that was causing shit and they went, this motherfucker isn't with us. Do what you will with him. He's not ours. Fuck him. He's trying to give us a bad name. And
I wish more people did that in the Black Bloc and shit like that. But the whole point of the Black Bloc is to not be identified, to be a mass group.
Yep.
And again, at this point, it's like, how are we not seeing this shit? Like, how are we not seeing that? Yeah, obviously, like, these guys would be cover for them, and why would they be cover? So that they can cause carnage. Like, and whereas the people who are like, yeah, no, we're just because even there's other protesters who go out there and they don't cause trouble, but they don't escalate to the point where they would even require that. But even when they do, you see them, they control themselves, and that's what it's like. Look, there's peaceful protest, and when those people are going out there to peacefully protest, they're gonna watch their own. They're gonna make sure that they're peacefully protesting. It's the whole point.
Yeah, it's something that I have said many times. If I were at a protest event and I was right there with everyone else that was protesting, and I saw someone commit an act of violence against the other side before they were attacked themselves, so they do proactive violence, my immediate response would be cold cock the person, drag them off to the side, and then go back up to the other group and go, that motherfucker's not standing for us. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm here for. Fuck him. He's not ours.
And I commend everyone on either side who gets rid of the bad actors and the actual shit starters. But I just hate the double standard that, like, one side has to prove good faith far more than the other. Like, remember the Dave Chappelle protest? Like, who's that one guy on Twitter?
Vito.
I don't even like his name. Yeah, Vito. But like, it's on camera. Someone destroyed his property, snapped his sign in half, and then tried to get the crowd to assault him and say the dude has a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit!
Like, yeah. I hate this. I hate this so much. Can't all of you are adults? But I mean, in age only.
I mean,
age only. I don't want to be ableist. I don't know where you are mentally, but like, go back to daycare.
It's crazy to think that there's enough of these people. Well, I don't know. I mean, where's my tinfoil hat? No, but
Speaking of, did you see the video I sent in
Yep, I
what?
pulled it up on the side, and the tinfoil hat on her head is beautiful.
I didn't see it.
So what I'll do
it's in StreamYard, buddy,
is just to make sure that we don't get.
I'm not your guy, pal.
Pinged.
Not your pal. I'm not.
You can't even think of another synonym.
I can't. No. No. Wait. What is the next one? Oh,
also,
shit.
Every time I hear the word buddy, I know I've told you both this. Both my parents are Marines, and they ruined the word buddy for me.
How so?
Because friends are friends and pals are pals, but buddies sleep together.
Oh.
Hey, I also heard dudes sleep together too.
I'll play this without the sound on. That way we can avoid
I guess not
getting dinged. But you guys can see the tinfoil hat, and that has to be some facial distortion on that woman. If not, she has an extremely unfortunate face.
Wow, look at that hat. That's a fancy hat. Though.
But I mean, she says it verbally. You don't know she's saying anything about Russia unless you play the audio. If it can be on Twitter without being copyright claimed, we can show like a 15, 20 odd second clip, especially when it's been edited. Like the guy inserted a tinfoil hat.
Perhaps even instigating. I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
She looks like a holy Roman emperor.
Fucking Russia is instigating this shit. What the?
Hey, hold on. Can I say something?
It's not far-fetched to say Russia.
Can I say something to the chat? Hey, Camel. I am the balls.
Well, you
hello to everyone in chat I didn't say hi to earlier. I'm sorry.
See, Adam, the problem is that you could say something to the chat, but you couldn't say that thing to the chat because you didn't clear it with us beforehand. You're now in trouble, man. I don't make the rules. I just have to enforce them. You needed to clear that. You need to submit that in triplicate before the show.
They're more like guidelines than actual rules.
I don't have to stamp my balls, do I?
If either of you goes Count Dankula, like I'm out of here.
Count Dankula just posts his balls. He doesn't start doing CBT.
You know what? Honestly, I think it's a challenge because Dankula hosted his balls, and I think I need a greater balls than he. So I seek to have the biggest balls of them all.
Dude, remember his spat with Nicki Minaj stands?
Yeah, what? That's what I was
I loved it. I was like, dude, my own tweet was like, dude, Count Dankula got all of these stands to retweet his balls and have his ball sack on their timeline, and you think you're winning? Think about it.
The thing that I found hilarious was the number of Nicki Minaj fans that their response to finding out that his balls were on the internet is, I have to see those. He turned a group of Nicki Minaj diehards from being just absolutely baying for blood to just wanting to look at his balls.
Like the man knew what he was doing when he not only put them on the internet, but put little kawaii eyes on it. Like, and again, you think you're winning this? The game, you lose.
To put it in terms, Adam, his balls somehow woolaloed the goddamn Nicki Minaj stands.
Yep. That's powerful balls.
Yeah. And it was mass woolaloing. It wasn't just one at a time and then he has to have that recharge moment. No, it was mass woolalow.
That was an amazing Twitter feed for the next couple of days.
It was just, what the fuck? But
it was just likes and retweets and comments and all, just balls. The more you grow up, you never get tired of balls. In one form or another. It's a constant in life.
Is it?
Taxes and balls.
And see, Hate Camel knows the proper protocol. In order to get that signed off on, Adam, you needed to submit the forms in triplicate, and you needed them notarized, and yes, he even has the proper type of stamp when it comes to that particular sort of notary. It has to be with the mushroom stamp. Can't be with any other stamp. It has to be notarized with the mushroom stamp.
Wait, hold on. There's a whole legalese type of thing going on here?
Damn near the Vogons.
Mushroom stamp is new thumbprint. I'm half tempted to tweet that. Just as a joke.
I'm not sure if they're distinct enough for that.
If the grooves in your and your finger bottoms can like identify you, maybe the veins in your cock can. Who knows?
You're gonna have to, because now I'm gonna sit here and and when I play a Super Mario game and there's a mushroom stamp somewhere, I'm gonna sit there and be like, oh god damn, these fuckers ruined this. 2! What the fuck?
You're welcome.
All the
No,
Kirby
man.
memes. Oh man, the new Mario Kart that came out, all the Kirby memes. It's not the worst Kirby memes I've ever seen, but my boy Kirby never gets a break.
Oh, did you see the new Kirby game shit?
Yeah, like literally, they are turning Kirby into everything.
Yeah. The overstuffed modes that he gets.
Oh, it turns into a car.
Yeah, turns into a car. He's able to partially consume a cone and get a piercing attack from it.
I've just seen the darker side of the internet, like when Kirby eats Ed, Ed, and Eddie's like bed, or when they turn Kirby into a condom. Like, yeah,
See,
Kirby,
I was really
the internet
worried
has
that you were
not
going
done
to say,
good by Kirby in years. My poor boy.
I was really worried that you were going to say you've only seen the darker side, and it was just going to be Kirby tries to consume the Great American Challenge, Kirby tries to consume an extra large Zargathus.
I have seen some. I will have to sift through my photos. There is a cursed archive.
Nice. But yeah,
Of
it's
Kirby?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
People have done horrendous things to this good boy. It makes me sad. It makes me drink.
Yeah, people have turned that little pink puffy
What the hell?
dough ball into proper cream puff online.
What the hell is wrong with people trying to corrupt such like wholesome characters? I don't understand this.
Corruption's a kink too, Adam.
Well,
Corruption's a kink too.
that is not a good kink because it's corruptive.
Fun fact, my name was almost Kirby. I'm really glad it wasn't.
Plus, then you would have been constantly hit with, so you swallow them jokes.
I would not have liked to Google Kirby in this day and age. I hate all of you fuckers.
Wow.
And Cannibalistic Wizard is in the spirit of it with, I'll show you a stuffed Kirby.
Already
see-
seen it, already hate it.
You see what happens.
But yeah, it's...
You realize that you type this stuff in to look it up, right? Like you are choosing to go. You are
Not
making
if
a
it's-
choice.
Not
No,
if it's
no.
on my Twitter feed.
No. Well, yeah, and how does it get onto your Twitter feed? Because
Pandas in video
you
game,
started
I blame
following
partly.
people. Get out of here! Get out of here!
Makes sense.
No, this is all.
I don't go
choice.
looking for Bowser Cock, for example, but
I
I
don't
still see
have-
it.
You know what?
Pandas in video game is kind of like Poe when it comes to that.
You know
Yep.
what? I'll have a dozen Bowser artwork pop up in my timeline, and none of them will have Bowser Cock. Okay, so whatever it is that you're doing, you're getting that Bowser Cock, and
Man, if that
You know,
is
it
a
actually
quote.
I'm
actually comes in handy once in a while. I've had a
Does
bunch
it?
of scam callers.
Oh, yeah.
No, I've had a bunch of scam
How
callers, and they've upgraded scam calling to like text messages.
And when did
So
you
when
use the
I
Bowser
have-
Cock?
So I will send them Bowser Cock.
Okay.
It comes in handy. Everything has a purpose.
I have a silo of Bowser Cock. There's 10
Hey, you're
different
trying to
types.
get my info and like sell me on a really shoddy like bullshit thing. Oh, here's some studded Bowser Cock for you, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm still just surprised that Adam said that without realizing how quotable "you're gonna get some Bowser Cock" is.
Clip it.
Go for it. I'm not even gonna fucking. Honestly, I think I've curated my timeline to the purest form, the most perfect form.
Mine is just creative chaos because I follow everyone as long as they're one semi-funny. Or like, I follow people on both sides of the spectrum because I don't want to be in like an echo chamber. So I'm like, and not to mention all the cute stuff and the recipe sites, like it's an eclectic mix.
Shit,
It's
you
an
know what?
eclectic mix.
Hold on. Maybe I need to add recipes. You said, right? Recipes and food stuff. I don't think I have food stuff on my timeline. I think I gotta add some.
Well,
food
you
stuff.
should have at least one food thing on your timeline. Come on,
And
man.
that is
we're
this good
friends
sir.
here.
Look
Well,
at this man.
I have it, but it doesn't. It gets swallowed up by all the armor and medieval and video
Oh,
games.
see, that's fun.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. They're hungry. It takes a lot to feed an army.
Yeah.
What's the there's a history channel on YouTube that actually covers what armies from like hundreds if not thousands of years ago would actually eat. Like it goes
Oh
through
yeah, he's
different
done a knight's dinner at this sort of venue and at that sort of venue, and
Of course you know what I'm talking about, but like what's the guy's name? What's the guy's YouTube channel name?
well, let me quickly find it because I'm subscribed to him.
Yeah, there's a few. There's one that's history with and just to let you know, Gabby. Personally, I don't look stuff up. So if you come up with something, if I can't pick it up, my brain,
Okay,
I'll leave it up to somebody else.
Where is that one guy? It is Modern History TV. Does the what did peasants eat in medieval times? What did knights eat? What foods did knights servants eat? He does all those sorts of videos.
Hold on, now I gotta look this up.
Yeah, he actually
Modern
recreates
History
old
TV.
recipes, like how food has evolved. He demonstrates it and like remakes it, like how it's evolved over the years.
Oh, are you talking about Tasting History with Max Miller?
Yes, tasting history.
Yeah.
That's who I am thinking about.
Yeah, because there's Modern History TV, and he normally isn't the one cooking it. Sometimes he does, but he normally isn't the one cooking it. Normally, he goes to a group of reenactors, and they cook the food for him. So he just has a good gig of eating the food that he's given. Then there's Tasting History with Max Miller, and he does all the cooking himself. And he's done throughout the ages everything from Spartan food all the way up to the Age of Sail.
I liked his bread episode too, and he did a crossover where he did a hamburger type of thing, like an ancient hamburger. I would also toss in two toss ups in that. I don't know if they're typically history, but one is, but Townshend.
Yep.
He does some cooking stuff, right?
Yeah, most of his stuff is cooking stuff.
Yeah. But that's like 17th century stuff. So Revolutionary War type. And the other one is cowboy cooking.
Kent Rollins.
Is that what his name is? The
Yeah.
cowboy cooker?
Kent Rollins. Let me quickly double check. I think it's just Kent Rollins, but it might be Kent Rollins. Cowboy Kent Rollins.
Yeah,
is the channel name.
You see how he cooked he did the coffee?
Yep.
That's some good ass shit, man.
Yeah, he does chuck wagon cooking.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. See, that's why I like YouTube has its benefits. There's a lot of fun stuff you can find out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of really great cooking channels that do everything from the very simple to the, oh, good God.
It might take a while to sift through all the bullshit, but when you finally do, you can find some real gems, for sure.
Yeah, like one of my favorite channels just for food porn is Umamu's Room.
Oh, is that the gal who makes the lunch boxes for her husband?
Yes.
Yeah, you talked about that. I made sure to sub to her.
Imamu's Room, also known in some circles as Husbento, because what her entire channel is her making weekly bento boxes for her husband. And then some dinners tossed in as well to flesh out videos. But the bulk of them are just, these are the lunches that I make my husband to take into work. And good God, they look amazing.
Yeah, it shows the prep, but she doesn't actually speak. There's just a bunch of dialogue on the screen.
Hey,
Yep.
well, let's be
She has
realistic.
the cute little emojis, not emojis like iPhone emojis, but like actual text emojis, like old school days.
Yep.
That's all
How
you
cute.
need. You don't need any voice. She doesn't have to say nothing. Just make that lunch.
Yeah, she does the Japanese emojis rather than the Western emojis. There's a difference.
There is. One definitely has a lot more life. One is more convenient.
Trying to keep it PC.
Oh my God.
I said Japanese emojis, not yellow emojis.
Hold on. Whoa.
Tell us in private
Okay.
chat if you don't want to say it on this public stream. I am curious now. I have to hear this. It's probably going to be terrible because you don't even want to say it. But now my interest is piqued.
Well, Gabby, so since you are new, I just want to let you know that we here at the Minions of the Zoo is a family and well-welcomed show. So we don't want to have any dirty jokes or anything.
I have almost zero filters.
We
so
talked
when
about resurrecting people with smoke up their ass from drowning. This is a family channel?
Wait, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was one of the history sections for this evening.
Well, the sensors are they must have been asleep. I think the video cameras were off at that point.
But yeah, Gabby, if you ever hear me say, I almost said something, I thought better of it, that's when you know that it's something completely fucked, because I have almost zero filters when on air. And normally then it's something about death or just, oh, good God.
Oh, man.
Apologies. I had to miss the last couple of seconds. What's up?
I said, the time that you know that something really fucked was about to be said, if I ever go, I almost said something. It was too much. And then I refuse to elaborate. Because I have virtually zero goddamn filter.
You have enough filter to give us a quote-unquote trigger warning.
Only in very specific situations. And even then, not really. Because I did just show people showed people a picture of someone blowing smoke up someone's ass in order to revive them from drowning, as you mentioned a second ago. Without any real warning other than I was talking about it slightly before I showed the picture.
Again, I'm just getting more curiouser and curiouser.
But yeah, you guys have any other topics that you were dying to talk about today? We talked about bad research, blowing smoke up people's asses, the media bias and shit, and the convoy thus far. Oh, and you guys heard about the recent somewhat about face by the Biden administration, right?
Clarify. What was about faced?
they were getting really big into the fuck the truckers, they're racist sons of bitches, just like Canadian media was. And I think it was last week at some point, they came out and started trying to do we're supporting the Canadian truckers, speaking what they think they need to say.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Biden's just a, I don't know how else to describe it, just
Wait, Biden said that?
Flip-flop is not even the word. He
A
is just, he's a
windsock?
puppet. He's a marionette. He's going to say whatever people tell him to say. He already called Kamala the president.
I think calling him a puppet or a marionette is giving him too much substance. I would go for a windsock.
I did hear about the whole insulin cap. Like, apparently Trump had put a limit to how much people had to spend on insulin for diabetes.
Yep.
And the Biden administration like revoked it, and now
Yep.
they're dangling in people's faces like as a carrot again. And it's just like, dude, you don't have to like someone entirely, but don't pretend like it's your fucking idea. If it really was a topic you cared about, you wouldn't throw it into a bill with 101 other requisites to get this to the American people if health was your biggest concern. The fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're holding people captive or hostage.
And it's weird that he even gloats about how he can do it, but he'd rather do it in the Build Back Better bill.
Yeah, it could be a singular topic. It doesn't have to be included with all of these other requirements. He's using it as leverage. He's like blackmailing certain people.
Yeah, see, what I would do if I were...
The people who say healthcare is a universal right is making this a fucking hostage negotiation in some degree. Like, fuck you.
If I were in charge of the Republicans, I'd be a complete asshole, and I would put together a completely clean bill that just deals with the insulin prices. Nothing else. It would be less than a page to deal with the insulin prices and call it done, put it forward, and let the Democrats vote it down. Let the Democrats
It was already capped.
refuse
It was
to hear.
capped and revoked, and now it's on the table again with like... I'm
Yep.
getting mad. I'm getting mad.
Yeah. Like I said, though, if I were in charge of the Republicans, I would immediately slap together a less than a page bill that reinstitutes the cap, and that's all it does, and publish that. Go for it. Try to get it put forward. I would announce that I'm doing it. I would make it very clear that it is just this. I would give everyone access to read the bill themselves, and it would be like a single paragraph slapped on a piece of paper. And I would try to get it put forward for a vote, and I would let the Democrats deny it being put forward for a vote.
See, you're far too logical for politics.
Yeah.
You're far too reasonable and logical and approachable.
Yeah,
You
but I'm also
are
an
omitting
absolute...
everybody else's thought process.
I'm also an absolute bastard when it comes to that, because if they did that, if they actually did that, just put together that paragraph bill in order to deal with the prices, and all it did was deal with the prices, and let the Democrats vote it down after announcing that they're doing it, showing what it was, making sure that everyone had that bill in their hands and was able to read it while they were taking a piss, not even having to take a shit in order to get through it, just you could pull it up and read it in the time that it takes you to void your bladder. It would fuck over the Democrats because they would absolutely vote it down. They could not allow that bill forward. And you would then be able to, from that point on, go, see, We were willing to do it. First, Trump did it. He did it as an executive order. It wasn't quite right that he did it as an executive order because this should be something that goes through us. So we did it. And the Republicans were on board. The Democrats voted it down. Why did they vote it down? Because it didn't have anything for them. All it had was this for you. Nothing else as you guys could read. It would completely fuck the Democrats. Because they would have to vote it down.
The Democrats are already polarized. Like, God, there were some decent prospects just like a couple of years ago. Like, we didn't have to have Joe Biden.
Yeah.
There was Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah. Who
There
I
was?
disagree with on a
Oh,
lot.
shit.
Like,
She's
there
at least
wasn't
sensible.
fucking Bernie Sanders who praised breadlines. There wasn't fucking the war hawk Hillary Clinton. But, like, they had to go with Joe Biden, a man who can barely speak, and Kamala, who hated Joe Biden until she got the VP spot. All of a
And
sudden, he's
who-
like a racist white man until she has to work with him. Now it's an honor and a privilege.
And Kamala Harris, who was the lowest of all of the candidates. in
And Tulsi
popularity.
owned her on stage, by the way.
Yep. Completely destroyed her campaign.
And Tulsi, or not Tulsi, freaking Kamala, who's never been to the border, never been to Mexico, was in charge of the border relations. Fuck off.
Yep.
Fuck off.
Perfect. Fuck off. That's the exact reaction that everybody should be having with this shit that's going on.
Yep.
You know, you're witnessing bullshit in front of you. You should be saying, like, dude, fuck off with this shit. Are you serious? Are you fucking serious? This is what you're gonna fucking try and sell me on? Get the fuck out of
Don't
here with that.
piss on my boots and tell me it's raining.
Right, not all moisture is equal. Don't tell me that it is.
And goddamn it, Terry, when you say cast iron defense, all I can think is about the virtues of cast iron cookware. Because there's a lot of people that don't like cast iron cookware. And some of them, I don't know where this myth came from. Do either of you know where the hell people got the idea that cast iron has to be treated like it's fucking nonstick?
No.
Wait, what do you mean?
I've heard
How do
so
people
many
not love
people-
cast iron? That's like some of the best cookware. It's like endurable, long lasting, good.
And I've heard so many people say don't use metal utensils in cast iron.
What? That's what?
Yeah, people
Don't use
think
metal utensils in like your quote unquote fancy new age pots and pans because it'll scratch your surface. Cast
don't
iron
use-
skillet don't give a fuck.
If you just have a straight metal pan, then you can use metal utensils. If you have a non-stick pan, then you don't use metal utensils because you'll scrape the shit out of your non-stick coating and destroy it. It will no longer be non-stick and you'll get that shit in your food. But for some fucking reason, I keep seeing people that say, don't use metal utensils in your cast iron, thinking that it's goddamn non-stick. It baffles me.
Some people don't cook and it really shows.
Yeah, I have a fucking metal bench scraper that I use in order to get shit out of my cast iron.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have zero knowledge on kitchenware. So, but in terms of using a metal utensil on a cast iron skillet or a pan, right? I don't know. I don't think I would do that. in the first place?
Why?
Well, why would you scrape it?
Well, there's a bunch of reasons. So I use, like I said, I have a metal bench scraper that I use to clean my cast iron. Because when you sear stuff on, sometimes you'll have just a little bit of residue that sticks out after. So you just give it a quick with your bench scraper. You scrape up all the stuck on residue, and your cast iron, after splashing in a bit of vodka and wiping that out and letting the rest evaporate, it's good as new. There's nothing stuck to the bottom, nothing like that. So it cleans it ridiculously quick. I have metal spatulas because they just work really nicely and allow me to get under things in the cast iron without any fucking problem. And they can get thinner than a plastic spatula. So metal spatulas are goddamn fantastic. I have chainmail scrubber. I use it much like my bench scraper. Beautiful. I have my walk shovel and my ladles and shit like that are all metal, and those work like a dream, and oh god, they're amazing. I love them. So there's a lot of reasons to use metal utensils in cast iron.
If you're having trouble assimilating this information, Adam, just think of a grill. Like a grill, do you ever use plastic utensils? Like, you just got to use metal stuff for something that high quality. Like, it's similar, not the same, but it's a similar concept.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want plastic diamonds on your teeth.
I'm talking about barbecues and grills outside. You fucking with me? Dude, you're fucking
Not
with
all
me.
of rappers in Chicago, Adam.
Oh, shit.
See, this is why the Lesser Jet said Chicagans aren't even in the same country.
Hey, wait. Come on, man. We're in the same country.
No, the Lesser Jet said that Chicagans come from a foreign country. And the best part about this is Gabby has no clue who the fuck the Lesser Jet is.
No idea.
Half of our
I don't even know
viewing
who the
audience.
Lesser Jet is.
Yes, you do.
Do I?
Jacob Jet's younger brother.
Well, you just told her the answer.
Well, she doesn't know who Jacob Jet is.
Oh.
Exactly. All of this is going over my head.
Well, why are we talking about Jacob Jet?
Because you asked who the Lesser Jet is. And the Lesser Jet is Jacob Jet's younger brother. And yes, his real name was Isaac, but it just became a thing that he became the Lesser Jet. Mainly because I'm a bit of an asshole and I introduced him as such on a show once, so it stuck from then on. But yeah, we have it on good authority from the Lesser Jet that Chicagans come from a foreign country. They aren't even American.
I thought they were like German and Irish.
No, he didn't mean that they're immigrants from another country. He meant that Chicago is another country.
Oh, yeah, no, it's the Emerald City.
Ah.
Yeah.
That was what he was claiming. They aren't even American.
No. We got like weirdo, like.
I was just, what the fuck?
Yeah. Dude, that's what I said. Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's why I am so attached to it, I guess.
Only everyone wishes that Beetlejuice was hiding behind a curtain.
No, I don't.
You don't want Beetlejuice hiding behind a curtain? You'd rather have to see that woman?
Oh, shit, no. No, you're talking about the Michael Keaton Beetlejuice.
No, I'm talking about Lori Lightfoot, who everyone's dubbed Beetlejuice online.
Yeah, I wish we can get rid of her. Damn.
Because she has the same bulgy eyes as his Beetlejuice.
Yeah, she does look pretty similar.
Yeah. All she needs is the right suit, and she already has the hair. Just needs to dye it a couple stripes here and there, but otherwise it's set. She has the bulgy eyes. Everything else is spot on. But my God, that is a vile, vile woman. So, any other topics that you guys want to launch into? We've ended up talking about quite a variety of things. Blowing smoke up people's asses, how the media's fucked, the trucker convoy, cooking channels on YouTube, specifically cooking channels that deal in old school cooking. And she wishes that she was Captain COVID Destroyer. But the only things that I could see the coveteers having as their rings would be escalating crime rate, drug addiction.
And we're proud.
Shitty city streets.
We're trying to be the next backdrop for the next reboot of RoboCop. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
you're well on your way there.
Yeah.
Just missing the RoboCop. And thought on chicken nuggets breaded with Cheez-Its.
Cheez-Its?
Cheez-Its. Yeah, Cheez-Its. He misspelled it. He spelled it Chee-Its.
Like those little square ones, right?
The crackers, the cheesy crackers. Yeah.
I don't know.
You'd have to balance all the rest of the seasoning, but it could work.
I've been trying to steer clear of fast food. So, I mean, so if I did get it, I might just to try it. But I would wonder what dipping sauce I would do. Would I do like a ranch or a hot sauce?
Well, since it would be a cheddar, either one could work.
Yeah.
So it would be dealer's choice on that.
It would be ketchup and mayo.
No, ketchup and ranch.
Ketchup and ranch. You
Yeah.
would mix ketchup and ranch?
Ketchup and ranch is fucking delicious.
No.
Yeah. You end up with something herbaceous, garlicky, little bit of tang from the ketchup, a little bit of sweetness from the ketchup. It's fantastic.
I don't know.
Gabby, have you ever had ketchup and ranch mixed together?
Yes, I have, and it's really gross.
I saw her unmute a second ago, so I thought she was back.
I thought that would work. But to answer Terry, get fast food but eat it slowly so you no, honestly, I tried. I haven't had a lot of fast food. I've been trying to cut it out, I feel a lot better, to be honest.
Yeah, it feels good to eat real food, doesn't it?
Yeah. When you cut out this whatever the fuck they're serving you, but
Just watch Super Size Me. That documentary was a godsend.
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever had ketchup and ranch mixed together, Gabby?
No, it sounds disgusting.
It's actually really good.
no.
I don't believe you. I'm
Mix
not
some
even going to
ketchup and
try it.
ranch together, dip in fries or tater tots or some chicken nuggets. Good shit.
To each their own. You do you.
Hey,
Does
yeah.
it get this garlicky, herbaceous, slightly tangy, slightly sweet dipping sauce?
And you know what? I'm gonna say. You know what? Thank
Well,
you,
you've
Gabby.
already said you know what several times.
I know, but I want to make a declaration. Thank you, Gabby. You know what? To each their own. And if somebody doesn't want to eat an onion, they don't have to eat onions, okay? But they
I'm just telling you that
still deserve a chance.
jammy onions taste entirely different than any other type of onion.
No.
You cook them so that all the sugars caramelize. They become ridiculously soft, sweet little bites.
Don't try to sell it.
Rather than having any of the sulfurous notes that onions are typically known for.
There's so many different ways to cook onions.
Don't.
Mm-hmm.
What? It too, Gabby? I thought we were like.
I'm just saying there's so many. I just said there's different ways to cook
Oh,
onions.
damn it.
I'm not saying whether
I'm
that's a
alone.
good or a bad thing.
Oh man, I screwed myself over with this. We're not live, right?
We still are, yeah.
Oh shit! Damn it! Damn it! Well, she won't see it. We're good.
Perhaps.
No, she won't. See
Maybe she's already here.
it. She's not.
She could be any one of us.
Yeah. Well, please don't play into my paranoia. Oh God.
She could
Right.
be me with a voice changer.
I wouldn't be surprised. I told you I could get you to eat onions. It's like, no. The ultimate trick.
Dude, onions are almost like potatoes. They're very versatile.
No, they're gross and disgusting, and nobody should be eating them. And you know what? The reason the French lost a whole bunch of fucking battles is because they sang about onions. That's right. Whoa, hey, listen.
No. The reason that the French lost a whole bunch of battles is because the
Besides that they're French.
Whoa. I wasn't disparaging the peoples. I was, their dietary choice.
Though I have explained my theory on the French before. Hey, the French used to be somewhat badass in battle. And it is my pet theory
When?
that go far enough back and you had the Franks and the Normans rather than the modern French. And the Franks were pretty badass in battle. The Normans were goddamn amazing in battle. And my theory about the French is that you guys are familiar with brain drain, right?
No.
So brain drain is the idea that
We're
if
taking resources from other countries, like people with high skilled positions.
yes, if you have a country that is accepting the geniuses, and they'll accept geniuses from anywhere in the world, and they end up snagging as many geniuses as they possibly can, they'll end up ultimately decreasing the number of intelligent people born in that country from that point on. Because all of the most intelligent people were drained away.
Well, funny enough, my brain was still on onions.
There's something that I think happened to the French, which is effectively, I call it testicular fortitude drain. What happened is that you used to have a bunch of mad sons of bitches that were really fucking good in a fight, and they just kept on fighting fucking everyone around them. They'd fight the English, they'd fight the Germans, they'd fight the Italians, they'd fight the Spanish. They'd just fight fucking everyone. And what happened is, every time that they got in a fight, their bravest people kept on dying by the score. So over time, you fast forward a bit and more of them have died. You fast forward some more of them have died. And you fast forward enough, and you end up with the Vichy.
Vichy?
Yes, the Vichy French, who were the great ballless wonders, who lacked any sort of testicular fortitude, were willing to capitulate at the drop of a fucking hat, and they've just been stuck as such ever since, effectively. Because they just kept on...
Bravery is a genetic thing. Like, losing battle after battle after battle would debilitate anyone.
Yep, that's what I'm saying, that they've had this drain of testicular fortitude, because everyone that had it ended up getting killed off, either by other nations or by their own. Because they also have a nasty habit of frequently collapsing and forming a new government. And yes, forming a new government, which is why they're on what, like the 6th Republic?
Yep.
Because they have a nasty habit of becoming corrupt, having a rebellion, and then a new republic is placed. And then it becomes corrupt. They have a rebellion, and a new republic is placed.
And I would say the root of all of these corruptions is onions.
No, it's that they're French.
Oh, and onions.
The onions aren't a weakness. If anything, there would be a strength. It's just the Frenchness.
They contribute to the Frenchness. French onion, right? I mean,
just because they made a soup out of it doesn't mean that it contributes to the Frenchness.
Well, now
there's a lot of other areas that eat a lot of onions that aren't at all French.
Well, looks like we're gonna have to crack our knuckles and start conquering the world.
Yes.
And get rid of all these onion nations. What the hell's going on with these people?
No. America eats a lot of onions too.
Well, they're done. You know what? I have this poster of, classic Chicago hot dog being made in the harbor. And they got these big old onions that they're topping on there with, the old shipyard docking. You know what? Nah. You're gone. Sorry.
Well, it's Chicago. It's gone for an entirely different reason than the onions.
Yeah, I don't think the onions were the cause of the fall for Chicago.
Well, I was trying to romanticize it. You had to go out.
That's your problem.
In the gritty one. Why did you say Martha? Oh man.
No, because unlike the "Why did you say Martha," what we're saying actually makes sense.
What?
That Chicago's falling for an entirely different reason.
Well, it's not fun to say about, we're increasing deaths and shootings and robberies. That's not a fun thing to say. It's not a positive thing to say, right?
It's no one's having fun saying it, but we just got to look at the data.
Yep. It's all in the numbers.
Damn it. Okay, so I swear we fell upon this same path before. That we were talking about some negative shit. We got to talk about a positive thing to close out, at least. Right? One positive thing.
If anyone in chat wants to volunteer some good news, we will receive it kindly.
Well, if we're just looking for general good news, I'm down 77 pounds or so from when I started losing weight.
Well,
Oh,
there you go.
nice. Good for you.
Yep. And I'm still eating, amazingly, as can be seen on my cooking Twitter.
Your cooking Twitter is pretty inspirational. I love to cook myself.
It is a hell of a lot of fun.
Just home cooking alone is so much healthier for you. Like, even if you're buying lean cuisines or what have you, like, you got to look at sodium, you got to look at all these other factors. Fresh ingredients make a world of difference. Do not discount it inherently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can make so much just absolutely amazing food. And you can do so at ridiculously cheap prices if you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the nikujaga that I made twice. One of the times I used slightly more expensive meat, but not that expensive because it was a brisket. And one of the times I used an eye round. Eye rounds, even in the current economy, are still like what, $2.40 a pound? They're
Whoa.
ridiculously cheap.
Somebody drop a mic.
It was just the gain suddenly popped up on Gabby, I think.
Hmm?
There was gain jump from you. At least I think it was from you for a moment there, and then it dipped back down. But yeah, the nikujaga, ridiculously simple recipe. So fucking good. Oh my god. And it's just Japanese meat and potato stew.
Dude, that sounds delicious.
Oh, it is. You do really thinly sliced meat. And the way that you slice the meat thin enough is you take your meat, you wrap it tightly, you put it in the freezer. You let it freeze about 90 to 95% of the way through. You don't quite let it freeze through entirely. Then you pull it out, you get your sharpest goddamn knife that you own, and you just slice it as thin as you possibly can until you've sliced your entire chunk of meat. You let that thaw the rest of the way. Doesn't take long because you've just sliced it insanely thin. And then you slice up some onion, you slice up some mushroom if you like, you slice up some potato. You throw the meat and onion into a pan, you toss that round until the onion has gone caramelized, the meat has gone from that pink to a lightly seared brownish gray. Then you throw in your potatoes, you toss those around in your oil, and the potatoes, you have to do something kind of strange. So after you either quarter or eighth your potatoes, you want to take your knife and just trim the corners so that you blunt all of the corners of your cuts. It prevents them from being able to break each other as they cook. Then you toss those in, you get them coated in the oil and everything from when you cooked the meat and when you cooked the onion. You pour in some dashi. You let that start to bubble for a while. You pour in some shoyu, a bit of sake, a bit of mirin, and then you throw a drop lid down on top of it and just let it bubble for like 15 minutes. Turn off the heat, let it cool down for the next 30. Toss in some blanched peas, like snap peas or something of that like. And, oh, I forgot, you throw in the shirataki noodles and let them soak up all that flavor. Then you just throw that into a bowl and good fucking god. Especially if you add a little bit of Japanese chili oil to it. Whew. So damn good.
See,
Like the chili garlic oil.
You can do the chili garlic oil. You can do, I think it's Layu is one of the common brands that you can get, which is just Japanese chili oil. And it's a sesame oil that is just insanely infused with a bunch of different peppers. So it has a nice balanced heat to it. Splash in a little bit of that just to awaken your palate a bit more. It's good shit.
Damn. You know, maybe I really don't have a flavor taste, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, when you guys were talking about spice, I'm like, you know what? As long as it's making me cry, I think it's a good spice. And that's
Onions will make you cry.
well, stop it. You stop it.
That's only if you bruise them as you cut them.
No. You know
if
what?
you have a sharp enough knife, you actually don't cry.
This is the second time we're speaking to each other, so don't tarnish this this diplomacy here. No, but it's either, because I was thinking wasabi makes me cry. You know, you get a good chunk of wasabi, and it's like,
Yep.
Oh. But also, like, mango habanero makes me cry, but it's not the same type of cry.
Oh, no, it isn't. Do you know why you can cool off your mouth when you've had too much pepper heat, but you can't cool off your mouth when you've had too much horseradish or wasabi heat?
Yeah, but sometimes I don't want it to cool off.
But do you know why?
That sounds terrible.
Get out of here with your, you know what, like I said, you lost a point with your last. Get out of here.
I don't trust your culinary taste at all. Sanguine's my man. Hush. He's speaking.
I have zero culinary, and I made no claim to have a culinary taste.
There we go. There we go.
I need a shoe.
But yeah, do you know why you can cool off your mouth from pepper heat, but not from horseradish or wasabi heat?
Why is that?
The thing that makes peppers spicy is oligocapsaicin, which means the oil of capsaicin. Capsaicin is this fatty molecule that bonds to your taste buds and signals that they're burning, which is why you get that heat and that stinging pain. Since it's an oil, that means that the way that you treat it is you get something that can soak up the oil.
No, I forget that I'm not muted.
You get something that can soak up the oil, like bread, because bread is spongy, so it can kind of suck the oil off your taste buds and remove it. Or you get something that is also fatty. That way you have the ability to dissolve the oligocapsaicin into solution. That's why milk, yogurt, ice cream, things like that work, because they have these milk fats in them. With horseradish and with wasabi, that isn't the method that causes the pain. What happens is that there's two different chemicals that when they combine, the chemicals are... So most of the time the chemicals are in somewhat solid state. Sometimes they're a bit more liquid, but most of the time they're somewhat solid state. When they interact with each other, it causes a reaction, and they jump immediately to gas. So it effectively sublimates. And that gas is a mucosal irritant, which means that it causes all your mucosal membranes, your throat, your mouth, and your nose to just start burning because they're being pissed off by the substance. Because that's the method of activity, the only thing that you can do is wait out the burn. There's no way to make it stop burning. There's no way to speed it up. There's no way to slow it down. You just have to sit there and suffer.
It's like an acid trip. You've signed up. You didn't know where
Yep.
your ticket was taking you, but you're here for the
But
ride.
hold on. I don't understand why you explained how to diffuse the burn if you're looking for the burn, because that's what I do. I mean, if I'm you know what, I was challenged and I was told that because I don't eat onions, that I don't eat flavorful foods, and you know what, that's a possibility, because I toss a whole bunch of fucking hot sauce on my food. I don't want to taste nothing. just like fucking eat it and like and you know that's life.
And the thing is that I was mentioning it because
Wow,
it's an
dude.
interesting factoid. Also, it's something that even if you like the heat, everyone has a tolerance level.
Oh no, dude. Um, no, I don't know, because I've heard some people have like where it's so hot that it makes them vomit.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever had that experience.
Have you had a Pepper X yet?
No, I've had a ghost pepper. That's the hottest I think I've had.
Yeah. So for everyone listening along, you have the hottest standard pepper, which is the habanero. Then the habanero is 300,000 Scoville units, if I remember correctly. After that, you had the first generation ghost peppers. Those were 1 million Scoville units. Then you had the first generation Carolina Reaper and Trinidad Scorpion. Those were 2,000 Scoville, or sorry, 2 million Scoville units apiece. So it's 300,000, 1 million, 2 million. The Pepper X, if I remember correctly. So there's been several generations of the Trinidad, the Ghost, and the Carolina Reaper. And they've shifted up. They're getting closer and closer to the 3 million Scoville units. Pepper X claims, and it has backed it up to a fair degree, that it is somewhere in the 4 to 5 million Scoville units range. So it is nearly 20 times hotter than a habanero.
I mean, at that point, like, are you even tasting anything? Or
At that point, you're talking damn near bear mace.
yeah, that's But hey, you know, if you can take it, fucking take it. Right? Ugh. Oof.
Yeah, Pepper X is supposedly the hottest pepper currently, but it hasn't gone through all of the testing and sign-offs to make people go, okay, yep, that is the hottest pepper. So I think it's still going back and forth between the Trinidad and Carolina. Both of which I've had, and if you balance them right, they're delicious.
Hey, yeah. I mean, if you can enjoy the meal with it, I'm all for it. I mean, I would say that's probably the end of the evening. Hey, but you know, oof, I can't imagine too many good stories coming after that. Hey, speaking of which, how you doing over there, Gabs?
Doing pretty good.
And
Why do you ask?
I don't know. Because I was reaching.
What were you reaching for?
That is my next question.
For help.
You're in the wrong house, fool.
Oh shit. That's not a good sign. I was reaching, like, hey, you're when
That
all
was
of
a
a sudden
joke, obviously.
yeah, I know, I got your joke, okay? I'm trying to smooth over it because it was a bad joke, and I'm trying to
Aww.
figure out how to get to the next segment of the show. Oh man, hey, reaching. There you go. Ba-da-ba.
It is about that time though, and I think Gabby, you said that you have to tap out here in like a
Oh shit! Oh, I
minute
didn't hear
or
that.
just about
Yeah.
now. So, shall we go to parting words?
Yeah. Ladies first.
After you. That was a joke. No, everyone here is really cool. I've had a great time.
Well, hold on.
I'm actually
lady?
speaking now.
Oh, well, I guess the fem. I can't even say it. Never mind. Can I?
No, it's just gonna say, like, no, these two dudes, as much as I shit talk, are pretty cool peoples. And I've had a great time as always. And
That's good to hear.
I'm really hoping I can live stream again. I used to have a different channel. We would do more anime stuff and everything, but it was still a grand old time.
Mhm.
Who knows? But I always enjoy downtime with the homies. And I'm glad to be here as always. Thank you for the invite. And I hope
Not a
everyone
problem,
has a
always
good
fun.
weekend.
And Adam,
Well, well, it was so nice to chat with you again, Gabs. That was always fun. And Sanguine, always thankful for letting me chat with you on Fridays.
always fun.
Honestly, I look forward to these Fridays. Because of these chats. But as always, the audience and panel. I love you all, and God bless, and y'all take care.
And I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Later, taters.
This is when you say goodbye, Adam.
It said goodbye already.
Now you say goodbye again.
Oh, goodbye.
There we go. Have a good night, all.
That's an Italian, right?